Welcome everyone. How we doing today? Denzel Rodriguez here, your personal finance geek of the 21st century, and I have my good friend and business partner since 2019. You've seen him quite a bit on my YouTube channel over the years. Sebastian Boyer is in the house, and I'm gonna have him really explain and share this relatively new partnership with Life 180. Some of you may know Life 180, Chris Kirkpatrick. I've also had him on my channel a few times, and we've done some really cool work together in the IUL space and in terms of educating people on how that product works. And now we've got this new trio partnership that we're working on. It's in the very, very early stages, but I'm really excited for what this has the potential to become over the long term. So I have Sebastian here today just to explain his journey, the beginning steps, where it all began, and fast forwarding to like what you're primarily working on today. And this video is really going to be a tremendous value to those of you that have a desire to get involved in the financial services industry. Maybe you've been watching my channel for 3-4 years now, and maybe you're a client. Maybe I've helped you one-to-one in your own finances, and in that process of me serving you and you witnessing the coaching client relationship, and then over the years you're like, hey, I think I want to do this. I like what you do, Denzel. I like how you help people, and I have a knack for finance, or I have a really big interest in, not only getting my finances in order, but my family and my friends, and everybody always talks to me about personal finances. So if you find yourself in that position where you're kind of the leader in your family, or you're like the go-to guy, the go-to girl when it comes to personal finances, or just anything, any kind of money decision, people just naturally gravitate to you or come to you. You might have a calling in that area. And if we've done work together, like I say, you've been watching this channel for so many years now, or even Sebastian's or Chris Kirkpatrick's, there's a really cool opportunity for you specifically. So that's who we're talking to today. Those of you that want to take that leap of faith, you want to jump into the financial services space, you want to figure out how you want to serve people, this is going to be a phenomenal video. So with that, Sebastian, I'm going to pass it over to you. Please tell us your initial journey just into social media, finance, like how that all began, and then how you met Chris, Life 180, and what you're doing now with them.
Certainly. Thank you, Denzel. Hello, everyone. And so I started, I guess, in the financing arena about 13 years ago with business financing and personal and business credit coaching. I think we met about 6-7 years now, five or 6 years.
Yeah,
Time flies. But
I know.
right when I think it was like right before you launched your first video. And it was incredible just to watch your journey and how you've really become I would say a standard and a pillar in the industry as far as someone who's reputable, knowledgeable, and has integrity to help and teach financial principles and values. Something that's so controversial. You as far as velocity banking goes. I think you're the most fundamentalist when it comes to the basics, and I think that's what a lot of people overlook. So thank you, Denzel, for what you do. So I think when we met, we were both licensed, and we started having this conversation about life insurance and infinite banking and how people can use that. And um, I was looking for a mentor at that time to kind of not just it's not so much to teach me the concept, but to really teach me how to underwrite and design these policies so that they would be optimized and efficient for that purpose. But the only people I could come across, everyone I met looking for that mentor, kept trying to, force Index Universal Life (IUL) into the conversation as the basis of infinite banking, and I knew that just was not right. And it wasn't until you actually introduced me. This was about 2 years ago to Chris Kirkpatrick, the founder of Life 180, and I started having more conversations with him. And it was crazy because at the time I was working with a guy that was a veteran in the industry. He claimed that his IUL company, they were like very conservative, never really inflated illustrations, and that the way to do infinite banking would be with this company and their product. So as you know, Chris has this IUL challenge. I think it's up to $10,000 for anyone who can present an IUL that was designed,
Mm-hmm.
illustrated 10 years ago, that is still in force today, and that is performing as illustrated or better. And you have to bring the illustration live on the channel. You have to bring the enforced illustration, and we have to look at it together. You can't just create a video and demonstrate your own narrative. So that's how that IUL challenge has to work. And it's been over, I think, 3 years, and nobody has met that challenge. So
Yeah.
that gentleman at that time, he said, "Oh no, I can." He said, "No, I can meet that challenge. We can do that." So I coordinated a call. It was me, you, Chris, the gentleman, and then he ended up, without letting us know, brought in the southeastern regional vice president of the company, of the insurance carriers company,
Yeah.
to the phone call, right? And and the reason why is because he would have that illustration. So here we are on this call, and this gentleman, he starts getting into his theory and philosophy, and I just talking about opinions. And finally, Chris stopped him and just said, "Hey, do you have an illustration or not? We're not here to argue or debate opinion or theory, but it's just black and white. Either you do or you don't. If you do, let's take a look at it. If you don't, then we can schedule another time or something." And he just got really upset. He was very irritated and abruptly ended the call. And
Yeah.
that was that. Yeah. So you remember that?
That's been majority of my experiences, not all of them, but it's been majority of my experiences talking to someone that sells IUL. And I compare it to, let's just say a sports analogy here. Like, can you actually dunk? Right? If we're talking basketball, right? If you and I go to the basketball court and you've been telling me online in the comments, you know how to dunk. You've been dunking since you was 13 years old, right? You've got 10 years of experience dunking the ball. And we go out to the court and you're explaining me the theory and how the average person of this height can dunk the ball. Like, you're just going off, and I'm like, can you dunk the ball? I just want to see you dunk. Like,
Right.
can you actually do it? And so whenever you talk to an IUL agent, majority of the time they cannot produce a 10-year in force life insurance policy. Their excuse typically is, well, Denzel, I've only been in the industry 6 years. I've only been in the industry 8 years, 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, 5 years. Like, it's always under 10, right? And I'm like, okay, well, who's your mentor, right? Who trained you? Do they have an illustration? Can someone in your organization that has been in the industry for over 10 years, that wrote a policy themselves, can they produce one? That's all Chris Kirkpatrick is asking for. One life insurance policy, right? So yeah, that was, that we still haven't had that challenge met, and there's going to be more content coming out about that. And that's going to be that's a very huge pillar factor that Chris Kirkpatrick's like willing to die on, is that this IUL product is the most misrepresented, most missold product in the life insurance space specifically, which then causes an already bad stain on the industry, right? The life insurance industry already has multiple stains, right? Just poor reputation that it's built over the years, right? Whether
Yeah.
it's the movies that we watch, or the amount of times people got scammed, missold, misrepresented a product that they thought it was going to do something and then it did not do that thing. Okay, that's terrible because life insurance is supposed to be a guaranteed asset, right? It's supposed to be a secure asset. You're not supposed to take risk with it necessarily,
Correct.
right? So that created just years and years and years and years and years of just poor reputation, right? And
Yep.
now you've got people like myself, Chris Kirkpatrick, yourself, that are doing everything in their power to restore that reputation because of some valuable insight, information, experience that we know of regarding wealthy families, wealthy corporations, wealthy politicians that have used life insurance as a foundational asset to build
Right.
other assets and wrap their assets and really protect and perpetuate generational wealth. It's just phenomenal there. And so
Yep.
with that, continue on your journey here. After that instance there, did that drive you in a different direction as you were like in, you're still doing credit repair, business funding, you still do that till this day,
Hmm.
but you've been really increasing your knowledge in writing policies, understanding how these things work, maybe not just the infinite banking concept, but other strategies within that world of how you can
Correct.
use properly designed cash value life insurance policies to accelerate investments or to offset certain things, or again, just as a foundational savings asset that produces
Right.
tax-free wealth, right, over
Yep.
multiple generations, right? So yeah, continue.
Correct. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, technically, the reason I even got the license in the first place is because of a SBA loan that I was closing, that the bank required the client to have a life insurance policy as collateral for the loan. And then I asked the bank, well, who's the insurance agent on it? Do I need to bring an insurance agent? And they were like, oh, are you insurance agent? You can do it. And I said, wait, okay, well, yeah. And so I got it. That's the original reason I got the license. It was just to add value to the services I was already providing.
Yeah.
It wasn't because I wanted to stop a job or shift everything and focus on making all my income and money in the life insurance space. It was more just to add value to the
Yeah.
services I was already providing. So that's why I wasn't moved by the hype of the IUL and these multi-level marketing agencies that were recruiting me. And I think everybody knows who they are. There are three-letter MLMs out there that are very popular, that are recruiting everyone to sell and recruit. That's their number one focus, is recruiting
Right.
and selling to your.
WG, PHP. I forgot the other one. But you got
Yeah,
WG, PHP. Is it
those
ML?
those companies. Yep, that's them.
Other ones.
And unfortunately, a lot of people get hurt in that space.
Yeah.
Um, are you frozen on your side, Denzel?
Oh, looks like.
You look good.
Let's
Okay.
do.
On my side, you're frozen. Okay. So actually, the reason I got the license in the first place wasn't because I was looking to shift careers or replace my job and my income, but it was actually just to add value to the services I was already providing. I actually had an SBA loan that was closing, and the bank required that the client take out a life insurance policy as collateral for the loan. So I asked the bank, well, who's the agent who's going to do that? And they said, well, if you're a licensed agent, you can do it. And I said, oh well, I'll get a license. So I didn't get it in time for that particular loan, but I prepared myself so for future loans I could provide that service. But once I got the license, I started doing more research and learning more about the different uses of life insurance for business owners in particular, including for buy sell agreements and key person insurance, and how business owners and entrepreneurs and the very wealthy and successful elite have used life insurance for hundreds of years as a cornerstone or the bedrock of their financial banking system. And so the more I learned that, is just the more I was like enamored with the whole potential that it brings to the table in terms of what it can do for your financial um, economy, your own personal system. And one of the things that I really realize is that anyone who puts that into practice, if you're doing it properly, it actually helps to hold you accountable to yourself, because now you have a system in place where you are the bank yourself. You're kind of creating yourself or putting yourself in that position. And if you want your banking system to thrive, then you have to stick to the principles and the plan, and you have to be committed and disciplined. It's not something you just do haphazardly.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things that I thought was like really cool about it. It's not just all the potential growth and all the wonderful benefits about it, but it actually creates structure and helps people to really kind of stay focused on a plan that
Right.
maybe otherwise they kind of be a little bit
Self
less. Yeah,
self-governing, self-accountability, be an honest banker. That's a very fundamental principle, right? In terms of
right.
building that sort of banking system using these life insurance policies that are properly set up. So yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So then I guess I started trying to find a mentor who can teach me how to
Right, because
design the.
you're still not selling life
No.
insurance. You're
Yeah,
selling.
only maybe just convertible terms or terms for the SBA loan death benefit requirements,
Mhm.
because those are typically what they require, just like a 10-year term. So just a little here and there, but not actively. I didn't want to sell something just for the sake of selling and not knowing. And the only thing I kept hearing from people as I met more and more people, and I started getting recruited to these MLMs, these multi-level marketing life insurance agencies. There's a whole bunch of them out there. There's PHP. I started there, and then I sat in a room with WFG. Then what are they now? I don't know. They just keep changing names and forming new branches, and then what they do is they take their clients and then they do 1035 exchanges and bring all their book of business, and then they just get paid all over again. And I don't know how ethical that is, if that's even legal, but that's what they're doing. And just sitting in those rooms, after a while, I realized their whole model, their culture was really just about selling, 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 not about product knowledge and really understanding and knowing how you're helping people, but just using the language of life insurance and some of the features, such as tax-free growth, such as the fact that it's hundreds of years old, and that the wealthy, like the Rockefellers, have used life insurance to as their basis of their financial uh, plan, and so you should do the same thing.
Right,
But the crazy thing is, the product that they're pushing is that IUL product, which has only been around for about 27 years.
right.
The Rockefellers are
About
almost
as old
200
as
years
me,
old.
guys. About as old as me. That's not a whole lot of history.
So I don't know how the Rockefellers are using that, you know, and they weren't. That's the fact. So it's a bait and a switch. That's really what it is. It's a bait and a switch. But most consumers don't know any better. They're using the words life insurance, and because it has some of the same features attached to it, because it's under the umbrella of life insurance, like you said earlier, what it's doing is it's creating this a bad reputation for the good part of life insurance, right? And for those of us that are really trying to help and educate people. And the thing is, I'm not sitting here and want to bash IULs to say it's like evil, but I truly believe, as Chris has said many times, that if people really understood what they were buying, they wouldn't buy it. But most of the time, what they are presented is just only the potential and the positive possibilities
Hmm.
that come with it, but they're not shown the risk. And if they saw the risk and they weighed it, they most likely would not buy it.
Right,
But that's not how it's sold. It's just sold on this upside gain, zero bottom protection. So you're not going to lose. This is a win-win, and they're not taught or about the fees and the costs, and they're told things like you can literally use this to and as a banking system for borrowing. It's going to pay for itself. It's going to pay for its own premiums in later years, and you don't even have to pay the death benefit back. So, I mean, all of these things at once, any product that you abuse that way, if you're going to borrow, never pay it back. If you're expecting that same borrowed money to somehow pay for premiums,
hmm
and then, how is it going to stand up? How's it going to hold up?
right. So would you
So
say learning this information, learning the misrepresentation that's going on, was that starting to drive you more into wanting to, ethically learn these products and ethically teach it on social media? Is that what?
100%.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah. I
what.
mean, it just got to the point where it was just like obvious that it was just a, a gimmick. It was a sales tactic, and then on top of that, they're all about recruit, recruit, recruit. So now they want you to sell to your best friend, your mom, your sister, your brother, your uncle, this product, right? And
Yeah.
and then I just I never felt right. Never felt something was wrong.
Okay.
I didn't have enough knowledge or experience to know what it was until I met Chris. And then as I started learning from Chris and watching his content and really understanding how the IUL works, then it was just like, oh wow, there it is. This is why that's what it was. There, I knew something was innately wrong with it, but now I understood technically really what it
So,
was.
so for those watching, because I know a lot of people like yourself also went through that experience where you had an unpleasant, disappointing experience getting exposed to a certain part of financial services, being life insurance, but still a growing interest in wanting to serve. So there's people like that watching, and if that's you, that's going to be very important to use that story of yours, use that experience to actually serve your clients at a whole nother
Yeah,
level. So you can speak from two different perspectives, right? You can speak from the negative. You can speak to how, yeah, this is all wrong. And we have this, and this that's actually going to overcome that. And because
right,
I went through this route, because I made a wrong turn, let's just say, that actually led me to wanting to find the truth
correct.
in what you're doing here. So for those watching, harness that experience. That's important. Use that as you get into this space, because that can be very, very strong talking points and ways of really relating and connecting to just customers, not necessarily business individuals that also want to be in the financial services space, right? But just customers, people that are just like, hey, I want some life insurance, right? And then they're convinced of this whole strategy that doesn't live up to how it's being presented. And you get to use that to, educate folks, say, no, life insurance is used for this, and this. Can it do this? Potentially, but not on a guaranteed basis, right? And it's like when you provide that open, open book, right, method, like people are able to make well-informed decisions. And I think with social media today, the customer is getting smarter and smarter every day now
Yeah,
because they have access to all this, right? And even if they do get duped, right, there's chances for them to course correct quite quickly.
correct.
So I
Yeah,
think there's a large turnover rate, especially those that are customers and people like yourself that get exposed to the multi-level marketing companies. There's a huge turnover rate for getting exposed to an opportunity, just like what we're doing right now. We're exposing our audience, our viewers, to an opportunity to not only just generate income or a second stream of income, or replace and make this your mainstream of income, but also serve people at a very, very high level. That's an opportunity in and of itself, right? But what we're not doing is like a bait and switch where we recruit you on a particular product, but then you're really only learning how to recruit and sell other people into this opportunity.
right,
It dilutes the actual service that we're providing, right?
correct.
Which is we're a licensed insurance agent. We're advising people on how much life insurance they should have to protect their families and loved ones, and also these other ancillary benefits such as cash value and tax-free growth. I now view those as ancillary benefits, right? These are just additional benefits, but really talking to people on the foundational benefits, the core values of life insurance, how that works, how that benefits people.
Right.
Totally different perspective. So now you meet Chris, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is 2 years ago roughly. You meet him
Yep.
and you start, masterminding. You guys were meeting in person, right here in
Yeah.
South Florida. We're gathering, and so fast forward to like how you got started with
Hmm.
Life 180's agency, the
Hmm.
group, and what was the vision, the mission that he had, and also for yourself, and how those two
Yeah.
aligned.
Yeah. So, yeah, once, really, I think I got started with Chris and Life 180 right after that call that we had, when, the agent that I was working with, the mentor I was working with, brought the IUL company on the line and all that. That was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. And I just said, okay, that's enough. I'm done. Like, I'm I'm not going to even spend more time over there. I'm going to focus over here and start figuring this out. And so, yeah, so I got started, and now I started looking at Chris and Life 180 as, okay, he's going to be my mentor, and in this space, and this company, Life 180, this agency, where they are in an IMO, right? That I'm going to write my business underneath them. I'm going to place my license with the insurance carriers through them. So first thing they told me, which was completely different than anyone else, was that I'm going to own all of my own business, right? So they're
Mm-hmm.
not giving me a writing number that I'm putting it in. I'm not going to get any checks from Life 180. I'm actually going to be writing directly with the insurance carriers. When I write a contract, the insurance company will be paying me directly, and if for any reason I decide I want to go in a different direction, I am non-captive. I could leave Life 180 and take my book of business with me. So it's just like, hey, this is an open door. We know that we trust that we're doing the right thing, and we don't have any reason to try to box you in and, lie to you, or put you in a place where you don't own your business. That also means that I own my residuals as well, right? So that's something different than, any other agency that I had talked to, um, offered. Plus, they were starting me off at a much higher commission versus what the other agencies start people off at,
Yeah.
almost double the amount of the starting point.
Mm-hmm.
And to increase my commission, I don't have to recruit anybody. I can just sell directly to the client, and when I help someone implement a policy, I get my commission. That builds up a volume and a record, and then I can increase my commission performance based. I can increase my commission based on performance without recruiting or having to build a team or an agency,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was the thing that was attracted to me, because I really wasn't interested in building an agency or a team. I was too busy,
Yeah.
with my business to do that, right?
Right.
And to be able to move up with these other companies, it just didn't make sense.
And not only that, like there's no like monthly quotas or like random bonus months where you have to hit certain things. You have to
No,
hustle. It creates this hustle
no.
culture that is just
Nobody
unattractive.
dangled a carrot in front of me and said, look at this vacation, look at this car, look at this ring, look at how much money we're making, and you can do the same. If fast track and make this sales quota in this time, you're going to get bumped up here, and then you're going to make this much money. And then, this hype that is sold in these agencies.
Yeah.
Um, and
There's
unfortunately, a lot of
there's
people just
there's no hype
go
with
ahead.
Chris. With
No, it's not. It's
it's
almost like he's saying, it's almost like he's like kind of pushing you away in a sense, like maybe
yeah.
we're not for you, right?
Hmm.
Because what we're going to do, this was completely different, is before you go sell anything to anybody, we want to make sure you have the knowledge of the industry, the product, and what you're talking about, right? Like,
Hmm.
now if you're somebody who's like, oh, I need to make a sale, I can't wait to learn, we're still going to make sure that you go through at least a few modules of training, and I'm not talking about training on how to recruit or how to sell. I'm talking about how, like, what is the product, what is the insurance product,
Yeah.
what are the different benefits and values of these products, what are the risks of these products, so that when you're presenting options to people, you're not just selling hype, but you're doing the right thing for them based on their circumstances, based on their situation, because not everybody needs to get a whole life policy. Some people need to start with a convertible term, right? um, some people need to start with smaller policies and build up to bigger policies. So no two people are the same. And so just selling product and recruiting, that was it's completely opposite, right? Um, and so with that, it just felt different. I didn't feel that there's no competition. There's no, like, we're not building up agents to compete against agents to see who's gonna outrank the next person or get the most points to win this prize. It's more so, Sebastian, what are your goals? What do you want to do? What do you see how do you see yourself operating this business, and let us help you build a business around you, around your personality, around your market, your traits, right? And I was like, oh wow, okay, now you're like trying to help me where I am versus trying to force me to fit in your box and become your robot and just
Right.
sell your product, right? And that was just night and day, completely night and day. So at first I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna do that and just kind of learn the product and sell. But as I'm selling and helping people with educational, finance education, part of that is what I've learned from you with velocity and debt elimination and debt management strategies, and then with the infinite banking, and then my business credit and funding, putting all that together. um, you know I just would have more and more people just ask me, hey, can I do this? Can I sell this? Can you train me or help me to do what you do? And so I started helping one person here, one person there, and I realized, wow, I really enjoy. I That is something I love to do. I love helping people, teaching them how to become an independent business owner, entrepreneur, doing the same things that I'm doing, teaching them about credit and funding, teaching them
Hmm.
about debt management and life insurance and the different uses and the whole thing. So started, you know, building a small team of people that I'm mentoring myself. And so once I had at least 4 or 5, I said, okay, let me put more energy into that. And so thinking about you and thinking about, our culture in terms of our faith and what, what we truly believe in as far as our purpose on earth. I created a, a website and a brand under Life 180. And this is what's so cool. Like, I can represent Life 180, fly the Life 180 flag as my brand, or I could create my own brand. So I have my approved guy brand, right? But I created the Kingdom Finance team and wholelifesavingstrategy.com. And that's what I'm running with as far as my agency under the agency of Life 180 is concerned. So then I showed that to you, and I think that's where we looked at it and said, yeah, okay, we can help people to really get the education and have the opportunity to really do the right thing here for themselves and for other people.
Yep. And where I came in, now it's 2024, fast forward to today as we're recording this video, in just the last few months, the last 6 years of growing my YouTube channel has just been personal production, serving people on a one-to-one basis or a group basis or through my courses. And it all started with just financial coaching, one-to-one, help people get out of debt, help people manage their cash flow better, become better stewards, make better financial decisions. Every now and then I would have a client that says, hey, I want to maybe get my life insurance license. I love the way this policy is designed for my family. If I'm talking to wife, she's like, I gotta, you help me put a policy on myself, husband, kids. I'm even looking at, I want to get mom, I want to get, husband's side of the family, my brothers, sisters, nephews, nieces, right? All this. And they're like, hey, what would it look like if I got my license? And I just explained to them, like, yeah, you can create another stream of income basically on just the policies that you would provide for your own family. And then, just through referrals, like friends, family, like starting out that way, could make a practice of your own. And then I would get some clients that are like, I'll use Christy Van as an example, where I was serving her on a one-to-one basis, coaching, and then she's like, hey, I think I want to, coach people on their finances and like teach velocity banking and teach insurance. And, I have a policy and I feel like I know this. And, so I helped her through that process. And Now she scaled her YouTube channel over 300,000 subscribers, helping millions. Her channel serves millions of people. And then like on a one-to-one, she's probably at least served, I want to say 1,000 or more just on a one-to-one. And then maybe group basis, thousands of people at this point with the amount of volume that she brings in. It's a combination of coaching, life insurance, right? She partnered with Chris Noggle, Money Multiplier. So it's really cool to see that. And I've had multiple clients want to do that, want to go that route, but I didn't have anything to provide them. So I would say, well, I got my license originally with Primerica. You could reach out to them. Or I'd say, hey, you can get your license with this organization over here. Like I would just push the business away because I had no idea how it actually worked. I was a licensed insurance agent, but I did not own my book of business. I was referring all life insurance sales to any other agency, whether it was Life 180, Wealth Nation, even Chris Noggle, Money Multiplier, IBC Global. It almost didn't matter who the agency was because my focus was always just on financial coaching. It was velocity banking, it was debt snowball, avalanche, cash flow index, stewardship, building their goals, setting up their financial game plan. And then they would say, hey, I saw you on Wealth Nation, right? Or I saw you here collaborating with them, so I got a policy with them. So then they would show me their policy, we'd lay it out, and then we'd strategize on how to use it. And then once I got exposed, really by Chris and some people on his team, and even yourself, how much money I was leaving on the table in terms of the service that I was providing. Like I was even consulting for free. People would send me their policies. They still do that to this day. They send me their policies like, hey, is this right? I'm like, who'd you work with? Oh, I work with this agency, that. If it was an agency I've never heard of, majority of the time, the policy's not set up according to what their expectations were or what their goals are, right? And if they signed up with like Wealth Nation, Money Multiplier, who's the other gentleman? James Nethery, anyone, IBC practitioners, there was a much higher chance that policy was designed for the strategy, much higher
Right.
chance. And then it was just a matter of strategizing because a lot of those agencies didn't provide the actual coaching strategy part to it. It was more like, how much money do you have? How much do you save? Okay, boom, here's a policy. Here you go, right? That's typically how it is because when you're an insurance agency, like you're typically just providing the product.
Right.
But if you're like me and you're coming from a coach perspective, it's about foundation first, and then how do we add these products into the mix? So where I think I can bring a unique value for those that are really considering wanting to team up with myself, Sebastian, Chris Kirkpatrick, is the way I see it is Chris Kirkpatrick Life 180 has the opportunity, the income opportunity, the training, and the support that comes with building your own insurance practice, right?
Correct.
Predominantly around life insurance. There's other products as well that you could learn with Life 180, but the primary being life insurance. Then you have myself, my content with teaching you how to do your own numbers, how to actually analyze your own finances and your debts and your cash flow, and how to make a decision as to what we're going to eliminate first and how to focus on cash flow. Understand those same things I'm teaching you guys, once you get it down for yourself and it becomes a habit, got to know my 4 major numbers, got to know this, cash flow times 12 and 66% of the credit line and leverage capacity and offsetting it. Like once you get those fundamentals down, and it's like, it's just second nature at this point, you can teach that. So imagine you come to the playing field, you've got the fundamentals locked in, right? You know how to operate your own finances. That gives you credibility and authority and a good solid reputation already. Then you have Life 180, right, and the support that they bring. Then you got Sebastian, who could be like a direct point of contact for support and community building, right? Being around other agents that want to grow. That's what Sebastian's now building under Life 180, and really leading the way in velocity banking, and debt elimination training and support. You could be serving a client that maybe wants life insurance or is interested, right? But maybe they don't have the capital yet to, say, do infinite banking. But then you can now pull out, right, in your tool belt another resource, say velocity banking, cash flow index, four major numbers, foundation financing, to get their cash flow up to the point where they can start saving money in a properly designed whole life strategy, right? It's like you're really setting yourself up for success and you have all this support. So that's the passion that I saw for myself and also for clients that were wanting to get into this space. And again, the last 6 years, all I've been doing is just sending all the business out. Now I can actually keep it in-house, and I'm able to have another set of eyes where I can see how it's all working out for the client, because I don't know typically the anniversary dates of clients or how the policy is performing. I have to tell the client to get permission from the agent to produce an in-force illustration so that we can go over it. So I'm basically doing the agent's job a lot of the time. Uh, and I'm like obviously not getting paid for it, which is okay. Like I'm in ministry. This channel, it's all ministry. If I so happen to make a lot of money, wonderful, right? But my whole focus has always been ministry, serving in the kingdom. I want to be a servant leader, and it just so happens that when I do that, I make a lot of money with that, right? And then that gives me the resources to get better at doing that. And that's the stage that I'm at now, where it's like I want to get better and I want to put a team around me, right? I want to duplicate what I've been able to learn over the last 6 years and say for the next 40 years, not only am I going to serve myself in building this channel, but I want to know what it would look like if I could help 50 more Christy Vans out there, right? That have a desire to build a YouTube channel, build a social media influence presence, or maybe you don't have that desire, but just build a successful, profitable business, right? That creates cash flow for your household, that creates financial independence and freedom so that you master money and it not master you, and you can go serve your God-given talents in the marketplace and get paid abundantly. And like, so if that means you learning what I know, I now got to a point where it's like I have to figure out how to be a leader in that way, not just business to client, but also business to business to client, right?
Yeah.
That's the next step that we're adding here. So that's from my perspective. Anything you want to add just as we begin to kind of wrap up this session here of just exposing people to a different way of doing business altogether in the financial services industry and the life insurance industry specifically? Anything else you want to add there?
Yeah, well, I just you're just following the template and the pattern that was put forth by our King, by the Lord, which is to be fruitful and to multiply, right? And so this is that next step is the multiplication step, and so that's just the natural order of the pattern of the template, if you think about it.
Okay.
Next, last thing, I think we could just maybe show your landing page,
Okay.
so people can see what that looks like, and I could just click on the links so they could see when they land there.
All right. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think we should just show your landing page, and this way folks can see what they'll land on, and we'll kind of just take you through that. Let me go ahead and share screen. All right. So if you go to wholelifesavingstrategy.com/Denzel, and I'm sure Denzel, you'll put that link in the description
Yep.
for everybody.
Hmm.
You're going to land on this page here. You can watch this video. It's a message from Denzel. And if you're here for two reasons, either you want to join Denzel's team, or you yourself want to see an illustration to consider a policy, you click the respective link above. So if you're looking to join the team, just click join my team. You're just going to provide basic information, whether you're licensed or not, your name, phone number, email. And then when you hit submit, it's going to prompt you to schedule an interview call. That call will be with me. And then from there, I'll go over with you the details of Life 180, the commission structure. Um, Again, there's no monthly membership fees. There's no dues. There, basically, you just have to be licensed, have your errors and emissions insurance, and that's it. You can get started with us right away. But the first thing is, as soon as you get started, is not to start selling to your network and friends and family and everybody, but is to go through the training modules, get the education, get the support and coaching, so that you can have the knowledge to really be able to help people. Um, and so yeah, so that's it. Um, wholelifesavingstrategy.com/Denzel. And what's pretty cool is that when you become part of the team, what's pretty cool is that when you become part of our team, you yourself will also get a landing page just like this, if you want to. And again, right, we're not charging any monthly fees or anything like that to be able to join this opportunity. So whether you want to, I have an agent right now, Denzel, that I've been training. He actually got a job selling final expense insurance for an agency, and so he got really good at it. And so he called me. He's like, "Hey, Seb, um, I've been selling this final expense insurance, and I'm really good at it, and I know how to do that really well right now. Can we set up for me just to do that with Life 180, where all I'm going to do is final expense, and I'll buy my leads and I'll do. But can you help me create a funnel, the marketing and everything?" And I said, "Of course, let's do it." That's his niche. He feels really comfortable there, right? You know, I'm not doing that, but I know how to, and so does Life 180. And for him, that's where he's gonna really, you know, focus his attention, his energy, and target his market. Maybe he'll grow into other areas as well, right? So the point is that everyone's different in terms of who their market is, the type of insurance they're going to focus on. Um, One thing for sure, you will have access to the best products. Just to kind of list some of the insurance carriers, as far as when we're talking about banking systems, we're working with, of course, Mass Mutual, Guardian, Lafayette, One America, um, Ameritas, Penn Mutual. So we have all of the big, best dividend paying mutual insurance agencies, companies, carriers, I should say, available. And every client is unique depending on what they're trying to get accomplish and how you're designing it. You may use Mass Mutual for one client, you may use Guardian for another, you may use Lafayette for one, you may use One America. So the point is to have options and to present options to your client, so that you're not just selling a product one dimensionally. Because again, that's where we get kind of I think where we underserve our client, is when we become hyper focused on just one way and one option, right? And
Yeah.
so ultimately, our goal here is just to really help you to be a well-rounded, well-educated financial coach, and with the debt elimination strategies, debt management. You also have access to me, and credit support, business credit, business funding. That's all a part of what you're able to participate and receive commissions on those things, as well as part of our team. So
Yeah.
definitely would love to be able to speak to anyone who's interested, who's watching, who wants to have that one-on-one time, just to kind of discover if it's the right fit for you. Definitely go to that website, wholelifesavingstrategy.com/Denzel. Click join my team, book that call, and I'll see you there.
Awesome. And where I come in, I believe, where I'm going to be a tremendous value for those of you. Again, this video is really specifically people that are really interested in getting involved in the financial service industry, and you're looking for coaches, mentors, looking for a team, support, organization, all that. But also on the marketing side, right, and the process side of things, I believe I can bring a lot of value just leveraging my platform, leveraging my audience. Come on my channel. If you've got the courage to get on camera and share your story, share your passion, talk about exactly who you want to serve. When you specialize in a particular area, you really set yourself apart from the rest. For the last 6 years, I've just specialized in helping moms all across the United States. And that story, that specialty has put me in so many other rooms I'm not even qualified to be in. But it's just because of the story, the commitment, the focus, the conviction that I have that I can serve this group right here. So the more you get clear on who exactly it is you want to serve, less about how much money you can make, the money is attracted to those that specialize, those that commit to service, right? And the money opportunities will reveal itself, right? We're not just going to throw it out the door. Like it's very important not just leave money on the table. And that's an epiphany I had. I was like, you know what? I am leaving money on the table. Here's an opportunity for me to do a better job, right? Have more capital to work with, right? So that means I can profit more, I can reinvest more in the business, right? And actually dedicate the time to training people that want to do what I want to do. And I'm the type of person that wants you to make more money than me. I want you to be more successful than me, because most of the time, most of the clients I work with are double my age, right? So if I'm making 5x, 7, almost 10x what you're making, but you're double my age, family, married, kids, all that, I'm saying, hey, in today's economy, in this environment, we need to get that income higher, unless you're going to move to Brazil or something. That's a different story, right? Where the dollar will take you a long way. But if that's not the case, you're going to stay living in Miami, New York, California, right? These major metropolitan cities. We need to get our income up, right? We're going to set goals. We're going to try and 10x wherever we're at today. If you're making 50 grand a year, what does it look like to 10x that? You're making 100 grand a year, what does it look like to 10x that? Right? And we're just going to remove 90% of your financial problems, right? By you specializing, get convicted who exactly you want to serve. You want to serve dads, you want to serve moms, you want to serve young people, you want to serve new married couples, right? Do you want to serve the Hispanic community? Do you want to serve the Black community? Who do you want to serve, right? And get great at that, in combination with getting really good at explaining and educating people on products, not just the sales strategy, not just the financial strategy, but actually, like, do you know how this product actually works inside and out? Can you read it cover to cover? Like, those of you that geek out on this stuff, like, it'll pay dividends for years to come, as it's done for me and as it continues to do for Sebastian, Chris, and many others that I've had on the channel. So with that, we'll close out here. Thank you for your time. Links are below to get involved, whether it's just customer side, hey, I want to see a life insurance illustration, I need some help and support, or you're like, I want to partner with you, Denzel. I've been watching you for 4, 5, 6 years now. I've watched you since day one, and I want to get involved, right? Now I have that opportunity. It's available. I'm going public with it. Let's have some fun. God bless you all, and we'll be talking soon. Bye now.